Hello, dear friends. You're watching Glorious English, where every viewer is truly special. I'd love to know your beautiful name and the wonderful country you're from. Please write it in the comments below. Thank you. My journey to Canada. My name is Emma Carter, and I am from Madrid, Spain. Ever since I was a child, I had dreamed of traveling the world and learning new languages. When I got the opportunity to study English in Canada, I couldn't believe it. I had seen pictures of Toronto's skyscrapers, snow-covered streets, and beautiful lakes, but experiencing it in real life was something else. As my plane landed, I felt excited yet nervous, wondering what life in Canada would be like. Stepping outside the airport, I felt the chilly breeze on my face. It was much colder than Spain, but I loved the fresh air. A taxi took me to my new home, a small apartment near my language school. The streets were filled with tall buildings, flashing lights, and people walking in a hurry. It all felt so different from Madrid. That night, as I lay in bed, I kept thinking, this is it. My new life has begun. I spent the evening unpacking my bags, organizing my books, and preparing for my first day. The excitement of being in a new country made it hard to sleep, but I finally closed my eyes, imagining all the adventures that awaited me. Would I make new friends? Would I improve my English quickly? These thoughts filled my mind as I drifted into sleep. The next morning, I woke up early and excited. I dressed warmly and headed to my English school, feeling nervous about meeting new people. As I entered the classroom, I saw students from different countries: Japan, Brazil, France, and Korea. The teacher, a kind woman named Miss Roberts, welcomed us with a warm smile. She asked everyone to introduce themselves, and when my turn came, I spoke slowly but clearly, trying my best to sound confident. After introductions, we started our first lesson, which focused on speaking and listening skills. At first, I felt shy, afraid of making mistakes. But then I realized that everyone was here to learn and improve. During the break, a girl from Brazil named Sophia sat next to me and started a conversation. She was friendly and funny, and we quickly became friends. I felt relieved to have someone to talk to. After school, I explored the city, walking through downtown Toronto. The tall buildings, busy streets, and bright billboards reminded me of a movie scene. I found a small cafe, ordered a hot coffee, and sat by the window, watching the snow fall outside. Everything felt so magical, and I couldn't wait to see more of Canada. As the days passed, I started to adjust to my new life. Every morning, I took the subway to school, which was always crowded and fast-moving. I enjoyed observing different people: businessmen reading newspapers, students with backpacks, and elderly women chatting in French. Canada was a mix of cultures, and I loved that. My English was improving bit by bit. At first, I struggled with grammar and pronunciation, but my teachers were patient. I practiced speaking with Sophia and other classmates, and we often laughed at our funny mistakes. We also helped each other by correcting sentences and learning new words together. Each day, I felt more confident speaking in English. In the evenings, I explored different parts of the city. I visited the CN Tower, walked along Lake Ontario, and even tried Canadian food like poutine. Everything was exciting and new, and I felt grateful for this opportunity. My journey was just beginning, and I knew there was so much more to learn and experience. One of the best things about studying abroad was meeting people from different backgrounds. My classmates and I started hanging out after school, trying different restaurants, and sharing stories about our countries. It felt amazing to connect with people from all over the world. One weekend, we went on a trip to Niagara Falls. The moment I saw the huge waterfalls, I was speechless. The water rushed down with incredible force, creating a beautiful misty atmosphere. We took pictures, laughed, and enjoyed the breathtaking view. It was one of the most unforgettable experiences of my life. That night, back in my apartment, I felt grateful for all the new friends I had made. Learning English wasn't just about books and grammar, it was about real-life conversations, fun moments, and new experiences. My confidence grew every day, and I knew that coming to Canada was the best decision I had ever made. Although my journey was exciting, it wasn't always easy. There were days when I felt homesick, missing my family, my mom's cooking, and the warm weather of Spain. Sometimes, I struggled with understanding fast English conversations, especially when native speakers spoke too quickly. However, I reminded myself why I came to Canada. Instead of feeling sad, I focused on practicing more. I watched English movies with subtitles, listened to Canadian radio stations, and even started writing a daily journal in English. Slowly, my listening and speaking skills improved, and I felt proud of my progress. With each challenge, I learned something new about myself. I became more independent, confident, and open-minded. Studying in a foreign country was not just about language, it was about personal growth, new friendships, and unforgettable experiences. One day, my teacher announced an English-speaking competition at school. The idea of speaking in front of a crowd scared me, but I also wanted to challenge myself. I decided to participate, practicing my speech every night until I felt ready. The day of the competition arrived, and my heart raced with nervousness. As I stood on stage, I took a deep breath and spoke clearly and confidently. I shared my journey of learning English, my struggles, and how I overcame them. The audience clapped and cheered, and I felt an incredible sense of accomplishment. Although I didn't win, I was proud of myself for trying. My teachers and friends congratulated me, and I realized that courage and persistence were the key to success. This experience made me believe in myself even more. Time passed quickly, and soon my English course was coming to an end. I couldn't believe how much I had learned and how much I had grown. Canada had become a second home to me, and I felt sad thinking about leaving. On my last day, my classmates and I celebrated together. We had a farewell party, ate delicious food, and shared our best memories. Sophia hugged me tightly and said, "Promise me we'll meet again one day." I smiled and nodded, knowing that the friendships I had made would last a lifetime. As I packed my bags and looked at the city one last time, I felt grateful for every moment. My journey had been an adventure full of learning, challenges, and unforgettable experiences. I had come to Canada to learn English, but I had gained so much more: confidence, independence, and lifelong friendships. As I stood at my apartment's window, looking at the bright Toronto skyline, I felt a deep mix of emotions. Canada had become a part of me, and leaving felt like saying goodbye to a piece of my heart. I had spent months learning, struggling, laughing, and growing, and now it was time to go home. At the airport, Sophia and a few classmates came to say goodbye. We hugged tightly, promising to stay in touch no matter where life took us. As I boarded the plane, I looked back one last time, whispering, "Thank you, Canada, for everything." I knew this wasn't the end, this was just the beginning of something greater. As the plane took off, I reflected on how much I had changed. I wasn't the same girl who had arrived feeling nervous and unsure. I was now confident, independent, and ready for new adventures. My journey in Canada had transformed me, and I couldn't wait to see what the future held. When I landed in Madrid, my family was waiting with big smiles and warm hugs. My mother held me tightly, saying, "We missed you so much." I smiled back, feeling the comfort of home but also realizing how much I had grown in my time away. At dinner, I shared stories about my life in Canada, my friends, my struggles, and my proudest moments. My parents were amazed at how fluent my English had become, and my little brother laughed when I told him about the funny mistakes I had made in class. Being home felt good, but a part of me still missed Canada's cold streets, the subway rides, and my classmates from around the world. A few days later, I met with my old friends from Madrid. They were surprised at how confident I had become. I now spoke English without fear, and I had so many stories to tell. But more than anything, I realized that my adventure had just begun. There were still so many places to explore, languages to learn, and experiences to live. One evening, as I was organizing my books, I found my English journal from Canada. I flipped through the pages, reading about my first day, my fears, and my victories. It made me smile, reminding me how far I had come. I decided to keep writing, not just about my past but about my dreams for the future. I also started helping my younger cousins learn English, using the same techniques my teachers had taught me. Teaching them felt rewarding, and I realized how much I loved sharing knowledge. Maybe one day, I would become an English teacher or a travel blogger, sharing my experiences with the world. As I looked outside at the Madrid sunset, I felt excited for what was ahead. My journey in Canada had changed my life, but it wasn't the end of my story. It was just the first chapter of many more to come. With my newfound confidence, I was ready to explore the world, learn more languages, and chase my dreams wherever they might lead me.